Hi everybody, and thanks for attending the webinar on Instant Data Discovery with Dashboards and Visual Analytics. My name is Bani Pandya and I'm going to be the host for today's webinar. I have with me Greg Harris, Systems Engineer with JReport, who is going to be giving us a detailed demonstration of JReport later on. So before we start the presentation, if you have any questions during the webinar, please enter it on the right-hand side dialog box of the GoToWebinar screen. And at the end of the session, we'll set some time apart to answer these questions. So without any further ado, let's get started. All right. So the company is called Ginfinite Software, and the product is called JReport. And our mission is simple. We want to simplify the complexity of reporting and visualization. How do we do that? That will become more apparent during the webinar and in future slides. All right. So before we dive into the demonstration, let's look at the highlight of JReport. Now, over the years, we have worked with various of our customers, such as IBM, Visa, and many others, to continuously hone JReport and turn it into an advanced data visualization platform that can be embedded easily into any application. How do we do that? We have few key areas. One of them is high performance and scalability. And JReport uses intelligent push-down technology, where queries are passed from the JReport server onto the database, and then the database performs all the heavy computation and submits the aggregate result sets back, which are then stored in data structures such as the in-memory cubes. So when your reports and dashboard need these aggregate values, they can access it from these in-memory cubes, which makes for a lot of which results in better performance. JReport also uses server clustering technology, where we cluster out JReport server all on identical nodes. So there is no sense of master-slave here. This way we can remove single points of failure in our system. So, all right, next highlight is adding self-service ability. Now, it means that letting you do the work that you need done. So we have a product which is so easy that anyone can use. For example, your report developer to your power user or your end user. Anyone can build reports and dashboards without requiring any special training or without bothering IT. The way we make it easier is by providing interactive charts, controls, widgets, and other visualization components. The third part is general flexibility. So JReport is able to connect to any data source, whether it's relational data sources or cloud data sources or even big data sources. You're able to deliver reports anywhere from your PC to your mobile devices. And JReport is completely customizable and embeddable. And this is one area where we really shine, and I'm going to talk about it in more detail later on. All right, so let's look at how we position ourselves in the market. Now, as you may know, there are various BI products to choose from. On the top left, you can see we have the traditional BI products. Now, the traditional BI products are good and powerful. However, they are very cumbersome and difficult to learn and often go underutilized because of their huge complexity. They're also difficult to seamlessly embed into your application. Moreover, there is a huge cost associated with these products, and once you choose them, you're logged in. So, it's hard to make a switch. On the bottom right, we have the open source products. Now, open source tools are relatively easier to embed because you have the full source code available with you. However, they are very limited in terms of their security, visualization features, interactivity, Adhoc reporting, and other capabilities. Also, if you want to build complex reports, it is often impossible with them. Now, commercial versions of these open source tools are also available, but they are limited and they become very expensive. So where do we fall in? Now, JReport offers the best of both worlds. It provides the full power of a traditional BI platform with the ease of embedding of open source tools, since you have the entire UI available to you in form of JSP pages. Now, even more important is that the cost of JReport is less when compared to traditional BI platforms, as well as less when compared to some of the commercial versions of open source products. All right. Now, let's have a look at the JReport solution areas. The overall goal here is to visualize, analyze, and discover your information. And we have 4 solution areas that help us achieve our goal. Now, I'm going to dive into each one of this in detail, starting up with embedded BI. Now, JReport is a BI platform. It is an enterprise-ready BI platform that offers all the security and the administrative features that the enterprise demands currently, like single sign-on, LDAP, and so on. It has a look and feel that can be completely customized to seamlessly integrate into any application. We also have a strong sense of advanced metadata management in the way we organize the dimensions and measures as components into catalogs. So you can easily search and reuse these components from the catalogs for building your future reports and dashboards. We have a set of development tools, one of which is called as the JReport Designer, that lets you build components, and then you can take these components to create reports and dashboards out of it. A component is basically anything like a chart, table, crosstab, or any third-party component such as map or weather. JReport also offers a very extensive API set. Now, this is where the power of embedding of JReport comes from. So all the features of JReport can be accessed through our API set. Right? Now, let's look at self-service reporting capabilities. So let's start with Adhoc Reporting. Now, we have been doing this for many years. Many of our customers are using these features of ours. Now, it lets you pick and choose which data sources you want to connect to for creating your reports and dashboards. You can have one data source, or you can connect to multiple data sources. You can set up sorting, filtering, you can link between different reports, you can drill down into details, expand, collapse. All the data interactivity features that you want can be added easily by your end users. Now the interface is what lets you create these ad hoc reports. So you can see on the upper right, I have a screenshot of a wizard which lets you start from a blank template, which then you can carve into different areas, and in each areas you can add different component as per your requirements. You can further customize these by using various themes, profiles, and print layouts that we offer. And all this customization that you do can be done in accordance with your corporate security and governance. So what do you get at the end? You can create really simple, beautiful one-click interactions with your ad hoc reports. Now next, ad hoc self-service analytics capability is ad hoc analytics. Now in ad hoc analytics, we offer visual analytics, which really drives the ad hoc analytic capability. Now in visual analytic, you have a blank canvas or a crosstab per se, in which you can throw a list of dimensions, measures, and then you can do pivot rotations, you can swap out of the measures, you can look at data from different perspectives, all through this VA tool. Now you can see on the right hand side, I have a screenshot of a blank canvas or a blank crosstab, and then you have your list of dimensions and measures that you can just drop into this crosstab. And again, all of this is powered by in-memory cube technology. Now, how a user can interact with data in VA tool is really cool, and you can see instantly how instantly you can change the way you're looking at your data. And Greg will show you in this in detail during demonstration, so watch out for that. All right. Now, next feature is JReport. Now, this is another way to combine interactive data visualization for your end user. Now, here you start from a blank canvas and say you want to create a dashboard out of it. So you can easily drag and drop components from your library. You can also reuse components that you created for your other reports and dashboards. You can simply drag and drop tables, crosstabs, line charts, or third-party applications such as Google Maps, weather, or any other component from your component library and just drop it onto the canvas. You can also add interactivity to the dashboard by features such as sorting, filtering, drilling, pivoting, and so on. You can also do synchronized refresh. So for example, let's say you have a pie chart and then you click and one part of the pie chart changes, it can trigger and change other components on the dashboard. You can do a local sync where only one component changes, or you can do a global sync where all components on the dashboard change. Again, all of this is done using HTML5. Now, here are some more examples of different ways that you can interact with the data. So you can link between different reports, you can drill down on charts, you can add customized parameters, you can do conditional formatting. So for example, if the value passes a certain threshold, the value will change color. And then you can also synchronize components, the thing I mentioned before. Now the other feature is live charts. Now JReport offers a bunch of live charts, and here are examples of just a few. Now starting with motion charts. Now let's say in motion charts you have data presented in x-axis, y-axis, then you can also add a third dimension of size and also a fourth dimension of time. So if I happen to press the play button, you can see the data points grow and shrink as it move over time. Now this is really good to show data as it changes over time. Then we have scrollable charts. Now in scrollable charts, let's say you have a lot of data on your x-axis. Then you can set start point and end point on your x-axis and just view that particular data. And then you can also slide it along the x-axis to view different data points on your x-axis. Next up is real-time charts. Now it is pretty straightforward, as the name suggests. It's real-time if you want to see real-time data such as your computer information, or if you want to see real-time stock information, then you can use real-time charts. All right, now moving on, I just want to quickly talk about big data. It is kind of a hot topic now. I'm sure all of you have heard about big data. Some examples of big data are mentioned on screen: genomics data, your social media data, and so on. And a very common way to store big data is by using a very lightweight database called NoSQL databases, which is a non-relational, distributed, open source database and very horizontally scalable. And a typical algorithm which is used in these non-relational databases is MapReduce, which is a parallel processing algorithm which can take a process and split it into sub-processes. And then the worker node can split the sub-processes into more sub-processes and so on. And it is a very common type of parallel processing algorithm found in NoSQL databases. So JReport supports all kinds of databases. It supports MongoDB, where we are able to pass both aggregate and detailed information. For aggregate information, we have built a native connector that's especially for MongoDB that connects and speaks to the MongoDB's proprietary aggregation framework API. JReport also supports Hadoop and its various vendors, MapR, Hortonworks, Cloudera, and so on. And also we provide support for Apache Hive. So, the point here is, how do you make sense of the huge raw data that you have? How do you analyze, interpret, and present data in meaningful ways? And the answer to that is visualization, and JReport does a good job at big data visualization. All right, next I want to talk about information delivery. So now that you are able to visualize your data, how do you deliver it and get it into the hands of your end user? We offer multiple ways, but the common ones are through web and mobile. Now customers prefer to use reports over the web because it's much more interactive. On the screen you can see examples of 3 different host applications that use JReport in embedded fashion over the web, EMC, Visa, and Passkey. Now we also offer scalable delivery, so you can access high volume of reports and even multiple reports at a time. You can also schedule reports to be delivered at certain day of the week or even time of the day. You can also deliver reports in any format: web, PDF, Excel, email, FTP, and so on. Now, when we say we deliver reports in Excel, we just don't take a snapshot of the report and paste it into Excel. The data information is retained in Excel, so you can come back and do further analysis of the data in Excel. All right, now another popular way to access reports is through mobile. You can download the native iOS app that runs on iPads and iPhones and other Apple devices, and it is available to download for free from the App Store. And it supports all the mobile device gestures. So if you have a dashboard, you can actually swipe and rotate if you have a pie chart. You can drill down on various areas of a crosstab. You can change chart types from line to an area, bar to a bench. So you can interact with it in various mobile device gestures that you're normally used to. So whatever you can create with JDashboard, you can view it on your mobile device with the iOS native application. All right, so let's have a look at the various deployment types. Now, here are the 2 popular deployment categories that many of our customers use, OEM and SaaS. Now, our OEM customers are customers that will typically embed JReport into their products, into their application, and then resell it to their customers. Now the end users will then use your products with JReport embedded in it, and it is typically hosted on premise. Our SaaS customers are customers who want to provide reporting to their end users, whether internal or external, will typically host JReport on the cloud. Now it could be their private cloud, public cloud, or even hybrid, which is a combination of both private and public. Now the customers will then offer their products with JReport embedded in it as a license to their subscribers based on whatever licensing model they use. And this is all independent of how JReport functions. All right, cool. So with this, we are going to be moving on to the demo. And in the demo, you will see how to create customized reports and dashboards. You'll see geo-analysis and heat maps because JReport works with OpenStreetMaps and Google Maps, so you can drill down from country to state to county level. So it's really cool, and Greg is going to show you that. Then visual analysis, as I explained, the data interactive or data discovery tool that we have, and then in-memory cube. All right. So quickly, if you can answer this poll question, that would be great. Thank you. I have one more poll question before the demo. All right, thanks a lot. Now I'm going to hand over the presentation to Greg for the demonstration. All right, Greg.
Okay, thank you, Barney. Okay, so first of all, I'll just show you a couple of reports that are interactive that you can work with. So this is an application that would be like your application. These reports I'm calling are by URL, so this application could be written in pretty much any language. I can just click on this dashboard here, and it will tell JReport that's running as a background service to go ahead and run that report, get the data from the database, and display the components in a new browser window. So you can interact with the report a number of different ways. So because of the metadata layer that we build these reports on, it has information about the relationship, so that when I click on year, it drills down to quarter. If I click on Europe here, it drills down to the country. Okay, so you can interact with a chart like this. You can also interact with a crosstab, same type of thing. So we can click on Asia Pacific here and look at the countries. Because this is designed for the web, we automatically produce a scroll bar here so that you can see all the countries. If we could also export this to PDF and stuff, and this would still wrap so that you'd see both of them. So you'd still see all the data. We wouldn't just cut it off like you see on the screen. So this lets you interact and basically change any report that you create to look at data different ways. So for instance, we could go to product type here. So you can see the data multiple ways with just one object like this. So rather than create 100 different objects to show all of this different data, the user can just interact with that and look at the data multiple ways very simply by clicking and using this metadata layer. For the most part, we're not ever going back to the database when you do that. So this is all handled directly in JReport. Again, in a table down here, I can do the same type of thing. I can switch from a category, for instance, to country. And you can see we'll put a page navigation bar down here. So this allows you to go through and look at the data virtually any way you want within the context of these objects that you've built. You can also take any object like this that you want and look at the underlying raw data that goes into it. So just right-click and go to detail, and this will bring up a detail panel of exactly the raw data for that section that you clicked on. So this is regular coffee with exotic category. And then we can just hit the back arrow to go back. So even if you haven't created a report to drill down to, the user can still see that underlying data. Another nice thing is you can always look at the parameters. This was ran with some default parameters. So you don't, if you want to change the parameters, you can just change them in here and everything will be updated. You don't need to go out and rerun the report again and set different parameters and then wait for it to start again. This will just rerun the report with the new parameters that you specified. And it's also very easy to add filters. So you can go in and add filters here without having these directly on your report. So let's say do sales quarter, and then I'll just hold the control key down and select some of these quarters, and then you can see everything updated automatically to these new filters that I put in. So it's very simple for the user to take a predefined report like this that you've created and go in and modify it to look at virtually any data that's in here. Drill down on the data, change the data completely to different things. So as long as that data is in the database and you tell JReport about it in the metadata layer, then the user can look at that data. They can also save this, so when I exit, you'll be able to see if we wanted to actually change this and save it for our own My Reports, that would go into our own personal area where we could run our version of the report later on. Okay, so that's using an existing report. Very quickly, I'll go into Adhoc and show you how to actually create a report like that. So you can predefine a template that has your logos and custom things that you want on here. Let's say do a sales report here. I lost it. Okay, and I'll do next. And then we can divide the screen up. So like that last report that you saw, I had 6 elements. You could do that. Just to make it simpler, let's just do 2 elements. So I'll go ahead and select, for instance, like a chart in here and a table down here. And I'll do next. And then we can select the actual data that we want to use. In this case, let's use that same data that report that we just saw did. We can select any type of chart that we want. Let's just keep it simple with a bar chart. And then I can select the items that I want to show on the chart. So let's do a category and a series of year. And then let's do, say, our total sales as the value. You do next, and now we're looking at the table. And what we want to do in the table is use the same data so it shows the detail of what's in that chart that we created. But we could change the data source if we wanted to. So let's just put some detail information in about our orders for these customers. So I'll go in and put in some detail information. And since this is order information, we want to make sense of it probably by grouping it by customer. And then for each customer, let's take a look at the total sales, and we'll put that in the total column. And then we have a choice of CSS files. So this allows you to very easily customize the report for your particular users. In particular, for OEM or software as a service application, you can customize the CSS file for every different user depending on how they log in and stuff. So different people will see the same report with different fonts and colors and things like that without you having to go back and recreate the report for every customer type. And you can see the built-in drill down and everything is already there. So that's not actually part of the report template itself. Those are created automatically based on the metadata layer. So we already know about those relationships. Same thing over here with customer name. I can switch the groups. Let's say we want it by city instead, and now we see all the data by city. And go over here into edit mode. We can add more things to the report. We could add, say, filter control, drop that in, and let's filter by sales quarter. Well, let's do a category because I already did sales quarter before. I'll do a category, and then we can just choose the categories we want, and then everything will be updated based on the new categories. So very simple to build a complex report like that with multiple items on it, just like the one that we showed initially. So you can see that if you don't predefine a report like this that the users can modify themselves, it's very easy for them to go in and create their own reports, again, and save those if they want to. So all these components that you see that we created here or with the interactive reports can also be used in JDashboard. So JDashboard is an integrated part of JReport. It's installed right along with JReport. It's not a separate installation or anything like that. It's just part of it, and all of these components are exactly the same components that you saw me use before. They all have the drill down capability. They all have the ability to interact with the data the same way. The biggest difference with JDashboard is the user can move everything. So on that static report that you saw, the user could change the items in it, but couldn't really move things around. So this way, the user can resize things the way they want and then add new components. So let's say they want to add a component from one of the things like the chart objects that I just created in that Adhoc report. Very simple to do that. We now have that chart object here. We can resize it. Everything is dynamic. So we can, the user can really build their dashboard to show any type of data that they want. You can also have a real-time dashboard where these components will auto-refresh at whatever rate that you say. So if you want to have a dashboard like this that has instantaneous data, like every minute or every 5 minutes or whatever schedule, these components can automatically refresh. And let's take a look at another one. This is another type of dashboard. So this dashboard is static, so we've made it so the user can't move things around on it, but it shows geography type data. So in this particular case, it's using OpenStreetMap. Very simple to add like filters on here. So this is actual real unemployment data. So let's look at the states that are between 5 and 9.2%. So we can see that we can drill down very easily by using these filters. So if I drill down, say, to Midwest, then OpenStreetMap is smart enough to know that we're just looking at data for this, and it automatically does that zooming for us. So these are very simple to set up, very similar to actually the chart that I set up, because all these are summaries, the sum of the unemployment rate for each of these different states. And we can even drill down to the county level. And you can even go further if you want. So you could go clear down to even city level if you wanted to. In addition to the maps, we can also do a heat map. So I'll click on that and go to another report. And this report shows the same data, but drill down to Illinois and look at it in more detail. So this heat map shows the size of the box is the total labor force, and the unemployment rate is the color. So we can see in each of the different counties what the unemployment rate is and the size of the labor force in that. You can also always change parameters right on the report. So I can just change this and look at the data for a different year if I want. So very flexible for the user to do geo analysis. Okay, one more topic is the visual analysis that we mentioned. And we can take a look at these same data sources that we have. I'll use the same one. And this is kind of like an ad hoc report, but what you do rather than go through a wizard is you just get instant feedback as you drag things and drop them in. So if I drop in the total sales, then we can see the total sales amount. If I drag in the regions, we now break it out by regions. I can then take it by year and by quarter, and we now see the data broken out by that. We also have other options. So if I take this total sales and move it over here, it becomes a bar chart. I can take this bar chart and say divide it up by category. And so we can now see all of these by category. I can also rotate it. So we can look at it in a horizontal position. We can also switch these to show line charts and pie charts and other things as well. And let me just take this and move it down here. And now you see everything is a line chart. We can also take the region. We put it down to a filter. And now let's just look at North America. And so now we see the North American sales split out by category. If we want to look at it by product type, I can just replace the product type with the category by product type. So you can see the user can very quickly go through here and look at the data multiple ways and visualize that just almost instantaneously. So what makes this so quick? Basically, this is creating a cube, and the cube has all the different dimensions that we've set up and all of the different measures that we've put in here. And so as I do these things, the result is pretty much instantaneous because this cube is all in memory. So as I drag things in and move things around, you see that data change incredibly fast. And that is pretty much independent of how much data you have. So let me show you how that's actually done. So in the management console, what we did is set up a cube, and the cube allows you to specify the data that you want, what schedule. You can run it periodically, so we could say set it up so it runs every hour, every day, whatever, even down to the minute if we want. And then you put in the settings that say how much actual memory to use. And we call this an in-memory cube, but we also have an option that if you don't allocate enough memory for all of it, then it will go to disk. And even though it goes to disk, it's not hitting your database. It will still be able to retrieve that data very quickly. So this lets you manage your memory and your disk space more effectively, and I still have that high performance that you see with the visual analysis. And this isn't just for visual analysis. You can actually have your dashboards run against these in-memory cubes too. And so you could have like 100 people viewing a dashboard, but the data only exists in these in-memory cubes. and the cubes could be updated at whatever schedule you want. So it could be every 5 minutes or every minute, or maybe just once a night if that's the frequency that you need. Okay, so that's the main things I wanted to cover. I'll go ahead and turn it back over to Bonnie.
All right. Thank you, Greg. So Greg made the presentation of geo-analysis and visual analysis look pretty easy, and that's how it's supposed to be. Anybody can create reports and dashboards easily and start interacting with their data. All right, cool. So before we move further, I just want to quickly talk about a few of our customers and how they use JReport. So you can see on the board we work with customers from all sectors, and I want to point out a few of them. Now, under financial services, you can see Visa. So Visa runs reports on more than 1,200 commercial cardholders, and each cardholder account has more than 1 million cardholders getting numerous personalized reports every year. Also, Visa Small Business has more than 15,000 companies running JReport. So why did Visa choose JReport? Because JReport is able to provide a fail-safe cluster technology which serves massive mission-critical IRS reports. Then the next customer I want to talk about is Target under consumer manufacturing. So for Target, JReport is able to enable access to their product lifecycle reports via highly customized web interface for buyers at Target headquarters. Reports are utilized by thousands of Target employees and vendors. And for Target, JReport provides ability to access databases at multiple levels and locations. And finally, I want to talk about IBM. So even in spite of owning Cognos, IBM still embeds JReport in their following 4 products: IBM InfoSphere, IBM Lotus Learning Management, IBM Tivoli, IBM NetCool Configuration Management. And the reason that they use JReport is because of the ease of integration, customization, and the ease of use for their customers to quickly and easily get what they need. All right, so before we move further, here's one more poll question for you to answer. So the question is going to be on screen for a while, so please participate. All right, thank you. So moving on. So what's going to happen next is I'll send you a follow-up email which will have a JReport 13 trial. You'll also hear from someone from our team. We'll try to connect with you, and I'll also send you a free white paper streamlining the process of business intelligence. You can also watch our product demo anytime on the website. And if you need any other information, you can email me or you can email Greg. Our emails are listed on the screen. And also any other information, you can try to connect with us. You can try to contact us from our website. So before, I also see some Q&As coming in. So I would like to ask some questions. Greg, are you ready?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah. So how is connecting to MongoDB any different than connecting to any other database, such as traditional relational database?
Well, with a traditional database, we normally connect with JDBC, and almost all databases have a JDBC driver. With MongoDB, though, we use a aggregation framework that's their API that allows you to use MongoDB directly, which is more efficient than going through a JDBC driver. So this lets you very easily and natively connect to MongoDB with very high performance using their native connector.
All right, thank you. Another question is, we already have hundreds of queries written for JReport. Do we need to write new queries or modify our queries to enable ad hoc reporting?
No, actually all the ad hoc reporting and the interactivity and stuff is all automatic based on the business view that is built on the queries that you already have. So you do need to do a little bit of work. You need to take your query and then add that business view to it, which is a very simple process. And particularly the hierarchy makes it a lot more interesting for the user to be able to drill down through the data and drill up through the data. But you don't need to modify the report. The report template will automatically realize that it now has the metadata behind it and will automatically enable those interactive features and also allow you to do the ad hoc capability to build new ad hoc reports. So you don't need to modify the query and you don't need to modify your existing templates.
Right. One more question. Does geoanalysis work out of the box, or is there any integration required with the mapping tools?
No, everything to connect to OpenStreetMaps and Google Maps is built right into JReport. There's no additional functionality or anything to install or anything to purchase. It's just an integrated part of JReport. And it's kind of like just creating a chart. All you have to do is have some type of geo information, like an address and city, state, and zip or anything like that that Google Maps can understand and JReport can understand it and build the actual location information into a file that we store in JReport. So once we know what that information is, we store that in that file. As new addresses and stuff are added, we automatically add to that file. But that way, you're not totally constantly going back to Google Maps and things like that to look up that location information. It's built right into the report, which makes it very high performance. And also a lot lighter on the network traffic when you run these reports.
Okay, thank you. One more question. Can we customize JReport to integrate with our existing single sign-on and security systems?
Yes, almost all our customers do that. So particularly for OEMs and SaaS applications, you don't want the user to even be aware that JReport is out there. So we have an extensive API that allows you to authenticate directly against your whatever way that your application is currently working. And we can also authenticate directly against LDAP and Active Directory and things like that. So there's a number of different ways available to do that, including even session variables that you can put set in your application that JReport will read at runtime. There's a number of different ways to do that. Whatever way that your application is written determines, the best way for your environment to take advantage of that.
All right, one more last question. How do you embed and customize JReport in non-Java environments?
Well, it's easier in a Java environment because our API is Java, but many of our customers are actually not Java application developers or anything. So they're building their applications in PHP or .NET or other frameworks. And that's no problem because everything that you saw me do today was actually done with URLs. So it could have been a .NET application that I was using and you wouldn't have known the difference because whenever I clicked on any of those reports to run or the ad hoc or anything like that, it was all done by just passing a URL to JReport to tell it what to do. So there's no need for any worrying about calling the Java API directly. As long as your application is web-based, can actually call a browser in one way or another or call an iframe, then you can embed JReport within that.
All right. Thank you, Greg. So, if you have more questions, please enter it on the right-hand side dialog box of the GoToWebinar screen, and we'll be online till the top of the hour to answer any more questions if you may have. Until then, please look out for the follow-up email that I mentioned that will have the webinar giveaways. So until then, have a nice day. Thank you.